My customers don't want vegetables. They want fresh vegetables. And we buy them by the fieldful.
Ever wish you could step back in time and relive the golden era of grocery shopping? Well, let's revisit some grocery store memories that only baby boomers can truly appreciate. Get ready for a blast from the past that'll have you saying, I remember that. Number 1. Jell-O. Jell-O, a culinary icon, played a distinctive role in shaping American households and dining habits throughout the 20th century. Originating in the late 19th century, Jell-O became a versatile and convenient ingredient that revolutionized the way people approached cooking and entertaining. In the early 1900s, Jell-O's popularity soared, and it soon became a symbol of modernity and convenience. Its prepackaged gelatin mixes, available in various flavors, offered housewives an easy way to create elaborate and visually appealing dishes. The inclusion of sugar in the mixes eliminated the need to use household sugar stores, adding to its practicality. One of the key appeals of Jell-O was its neat and tidy nature. As part of the domestic science movement, molded gelatin salads became a staple, providing a mess-free alternative to traditional tossed salads. The molded representations, often showcasing intricate arrangements of ingredients, reflected the era's emphasis on aesthetics in cooking. Jell-O's marketing strategies evolved to align with the changing times. Advertisements highlighted the brand as trustworthy, emphasizing features like safety bag packaging and purity. The introduction of savory gelatin flavors in the 1960s showcased Jell-O's versatility beyond desserts. The rise of Jell-O marked a shift from traditional ways of shopping, as branded food items gained prominence over buying dry goods by the pound at general stores. Jell-O ads also played a role in reflecting American social history, with early advertisements emphasizing affordability and associations with the innocence of childhood. By the mid-1970s, however, the popularity of savory gelatin salads declined, leading to their removal from shelves. Number 2. 10 checkout stations. In the 1950s, grocery stores and supermarkets underwent a significant transformation to enhance customer service and convenience. The introduction of multiple checkout stations was a notable feature, representing a departure from the traditional general stores of the past. Unlike the earlier stores with 1 or 2 checkout counters, larger supermarkets in the 1950s often boasted as many as 10 checkout stations. This innovation aimed to address the increasing demand for efficiency and speed in the shopping experience. The presence of multiple stations allowed several cashiers to attend to customers simultaneously, reducing wait times and streamlining the overall checkout process. Having 10 checkout stations proved particularly beneficial during peak hours, such as weekends and evenings when supermarkets experienced higher customer volumes. This adaptation was in response to the changing dynamics of the retail industry, influenced by the post-war era's growing consumerism and the shift towards self-service and expanded product offerings. The introduction of these checkout stations marked a pivotal moment in the history of grocery shopping, paving the way for modern supermarkets and the convenience-driven shopping experiences prevalent today. The commitment to improving customer service and efficiency in the 1950s supermarkets laid the foundation for the retail landscape we are familiar with in the present day. Number 3. Kresge's new registers. In the 1950s, Kresge introduced new registers that calculated change, marking a technological advancement in the grocery shopping experience. These registers streamlined the checkout process, saving time and reducing the need for mental arithmetic for both shoppers and cashiers.
Notice the cashier greets the customer with a friendly wave before she starts scanning his items.
The introduction of such registers reflects the era's increasing reliance on technology and automation, transforming the shopping landscape. Walking through a 1950s grocery store was a unique sensory experience. The sounds of paper bags being filled, the aroma of fresh bread from in-store bakeries, and the sight of neatly stacked produce and products on low shelves contributed to the ambiance. The layout of these supermarkets was characterized by wide aisles and low shelves, providing an unobstructed view of the products. This design embraced the concept of one-stop shopping, offering a diverse range of items, reflecting post-war prosperity and abundance in the United States. The supermarkets of that era were not just places to shop, but also social hubs, where people connected with neighbors and friends during their weekly routines. Number 4. Paying by check. The use of checks as a payment method saw a significant rise in the decades following the Civil War. By the early 1940s, Americans were writing nearly 4 billion checks annually, with each American writing an average of 1 check every 11 days. In the 1950s, this number increased to nearly 8 billion checks per year, equating to at least 1 check per week for each American. Cash and checks were the prevalent methods of payment during this time, but the introduction of credit cards began to shift the landscape. Jim, as a businessman, adapted to this change, keeping track of sales and orders in logs. At the end of each day, he reconciled cash, checks, and credit card payments, depositing the money at the bank. Number 5. M&Ms. Legend has it that Forrest Mars Sr., the first M in M&Ms, got the idea for the candy during a visit to Spain, where soldiers were eating chocolates with a hard sugary coating to prevent melting during the Spanish Civil War, 1936 to 1939. In 1940, Forrest Mars Sr. created a batch of chocolate candy pellets and partnered with the Hershey's Corporation to bring M&Ms to life. The design was patented in 1941, and production began in Newark, New Jersey. Initially marketed to the military as a snack that could withstand different climates, M&Ms gained popularity among soldiers in World War II. By the late 1940s, M&Ms were widely available to the public. The famous slogan, "It melts in your mouth, not in your hands," was trademarked in 1954. In 1981, M&Ms went to outer space when astronauts brought them on a space shuttle flight. Due to the candy's popularity, an ingenious solution to distinguish real M&Ms from imitators was implemented by stamping each candy with the now famous M. The slogan, "Look for the M on every piece," was created. In 1954, M&M's peanut chocolate candies were introduced, and the color used to print the M on both M&M's plain and peanut chocolate candies was changed from black to white. Number 6. Good Humor Ice Cream. The Good Humor ice cream brand traces its origins back to 1920 in Youngstown, Ohio.
Everything's $2. That's pretty cool, man.
When confectioner Harry Burt created a chocolate coating that could complement ice cream. The idea of freezing sticks from Jolly Boy suckers into the ice cream to serve as handles was suggested by Burt's son after his daughter found the treat too messy to eat with bare hands. The name Good Humor was chosen based on the belief that a person's temperament or humor was connected to their sense of taste. Harry Burt outfitted a fleet of 12 street vending trucks with freezers and bells to sell the Good Humor bars. The first set of bells came from his son's bobsled. After a 3-year wait for a patent, Burt took a 5-gallon pail of Good Humor bars to Washington, D.C. in 1923 for patents officials to sample, successfully obtaining the patent. The Good Humor brand expanded with trucks, tricycles, and pushcarts selling the iconic ice cream bars. In 1929, a Good Humor plant opened in Chicago, but the business faced challenges when the mob demanded protection money, leading to the destruction of part of the Chicago fleet after refusal to comply. Good Humor men in the early days were required to tip their hats to ladies and salute gentlemen. Training to become a Good Humor man took 3 days. By 1960, the Good Humor brand offered over 85 ice cream products, becoming a well-beloved and iconic part of American culture. Number 7. Free samples were always a good idea. In the 1950s, grocery stores recognized the effectiveness of offering free samples to boost sales.
Oh, sausage son. Plan to buy great amount for samurai buddies.
Sir,
This practice, which remains popular today, involves providing customers with tasting samples of products, encouraging them to try new items. The strategy leverages the psychological principle of reciprocity, where receiving something for free creates a sense of obligation to reciprocate. Free samples trigger specific desires and cravings, making customers more likely to purchase the sampled product. This approach has been successful for snack food companies, with conversion rates being significantly higher for products that are sampled. The psychology behind free samples extends beyond snacks, as various industries use this strategy to build connections and encourage repeat business. Number 8. The produce section. In the 1950s, the produce section of a grocery store presented a vibrant and colorful display of fresh fruits and vegetables. The arrangement featured seasonal produce neatly placed on wooden crates or wicker baskets, with an emphasis on locally grown items. The design of the produce section was simple and open, facilitating easy browsing for customers. Signs and hand-painted chalkboards were used to indicate the names and prices of different fruits and vegetables, adding a quaint and personal touch to the shopping experience. Wooden bins were a common sight, filled with leafy greens, root vegetables, and a variety of fruits. Items like lettuce, carrots, potatoes, apples, oranges, and bananas were often displayed in this manner, sourced directly from nearby farms to ensure freshness. A scale near the produce section allowed customers to weigh and label their selections, contributing to a self-service approach that empowered shoppers to hand-select the exact quantity of each item they needed. Overall, the 1950s produce section was not only visibly appealing, but also an essential and nostalgic part of the shopping experience. emphasizing abundance and freshness. Number 9. Displays were elaborate. During the peak of advertising industry in the 1950s, grocery stores recognized the power of flashy displays to attract customers.
All right, you got all your vegetables here, carrots, you got all the pepper colors. Look at this, red, orange, green, yellow. Oh, look, it spells J-E, Jewel.
Elaborate displays, featuring big wording and bright colors, were used to grab shoppers' attention. The influence of department store strategies, pioneered by Harry Gordon Selfridge in 1914, led grocery stores to create window displays as attractions. In the 1930s, the retail industry saw a surge in creativity, with artists commissioned to create displays. Notable artists like Salvador Dali and Andy Warhol were involved in this trend. Salvador Dali's 1939 Bonwit Teller shop window display designs, though controversial, marked a significant moment in the evolution of artistic displays. The 1950s brought a balance between creativity and sales, with grocery stores employing elaborate displays to entice customers. However, simplicity also proved effective, as demonstrated by Liberty in London in 1962, where minimalistic shop displays contributed to increased sales. Number 10. Extra services available. In the 1950s, grocery stores and supermarkets went beyond merely offering goods on shelves, providing a range of extra services
to pick, buy, and finally deliver the items to customers across the country
that prioritized customer satisfaction and convenience. The era's supermarkets featured in-store butchers, offering custom cuts of meat along with cooking advice. Additionally, many stores provided delivery services, allowing customers to order groceries by phone and have them delivered to their homes, catering to busy families seeking convenience. In-house bakeries were another hallmark, where bakers prepared fresh bread, pastries, and cakes daily. Customers could order custom cakes for special occasions, adding a personalized touch to their celebrations. The ability to prepare multiple baked hams at a time showcased a catering service, enabling customers to order large quantities of prepared food for events and gatherings. Moreover, 1950s grocery stores often had a dedicated customer service counter where shoppers could request specialty items, place orders for future purchases, or seek assistance. These extra services demonstrated a strong commitment to customer care and satisfaction, providing a comprehensive and personalized shopping experience. Number 11. Self-service grocery stores. The concept of self-service grocery stores, pioneered by Charles Sanders with the opening of Piggly Wiggly in 1916.
By 1960, they took over 70% of
revolutionized the way people shopped. By the 1950s and 60s, the self-service model became the norm, allowing shoppers to stroll through aisles and hand-select items themselves. In the early 20th century, customers would either call in or bring their grocery list to have a store staff bag items for pickup or delivery. The transition to self-service marked a significant shift in the shopping experience. Shoppers, accustomed to personalized service, now roamed aisles and chose their items independently. The introduction of large, balanced scales in the produce department added another layer to the self-service model. Shoppers would weigh their produce before heading to the checkout lane. This change in grocery shopping was part of a broader trend where more stores adopted self-service retailing, displaying products openly for customers to choose. The evolution of self-service retailing was closely tied to advancements in transparent packaging, particularly the invention of cellophane. This shift allowed customers to see products before buying them, transforming the grocery shopping experience. The mid-50s introduction of plastic film further revolutionized the packaging of meat, rendering traditional paper-wrapped cuts a thing of the past. Number 12. Shopping carts and helpful directories. In the 1950s, colonial stores, the epitome of American grocery chains, offered a shopping experience that embodied the essence of the era. Their iconic shopping carts were not merely carriers, they were symbols of convenience and modernity.
This is a really cool piece of technology because it allows you to self-checkout as you
Placed strategically beneath the store manager's office near the entrance, these durable carts were always within reach for shoppers. But these were no ordinary carts. Equipped with a customer telephone and a writing desk, each cart allowed shoppers to jot down their grocery lists or make quick calls. What set them apart even more was the innovative store directory affixed to each cart. This directory provided detailed information about the precise location of various merchandise within the store, streamlining the shopping experience. These vintage shopping carts, with their nostalgic charm, encapsulate the essence of a bygone era. They symbolize a simpler time when personalized service and efficient shopping experiences were synonymous with the local grocery store visit, combining efficiency, convenience, and modernity. Number 13. Margarine. In the 1950s, as fats faced scrutiny, margarine emerged as a substitute for butter. Positioned as a cheaper alternative, margarine was initially met with skepticism.
For now, butter really is back. And until a genuinely healthy alternative can be developed, it looks like it's here to stay.
The spread's pale white color and concerns about being a poor man's food fueled skepticism among consumers. Despite federal restrictions and opposition from the dairy industry, margarine survived. Butter consumption declined, while margarine sales quadrupled between the late 1920s and 1950s. During the Great Depression, its affordability made it a pantry staple, and World War II rationing boosted its popularity further. Margarine's image transformed, shedding its association with being a low-class food. Even Eleanor Roosevelt endorsed Good Luck margarine in a commercial, claiming to spread it on her toast every morning. Soybean and cottonseed oil farmers benefited from its popularity, pressing lawmakers to repeal restrictions. The federal government repealed its margarine tax in 1950, leading states to follow suit, except for Minnesota and Wisconsin. Wisconsin held out until 1967, maintaining strict regulations. Even today, restaurants in Wisconsin can't serve margarine unless specifically requested by a customer. Number 14. Shoppers dressed to impress. Remember the days when a trip to the store meant dressing to the nines? In the 20th century, customers wouldn't dream of going out in public without putting on their best attire. Grocery shopping wasn't an exception, and women would often wear their finest dresses, complete with hats and gloves, just to run errands. Reflecting on vintage fashion, it's evident how priorities have shifted. Back in the day, people dressed for occasions, whether it was a night at the theater, a grocery store visit, or a dinner outing. Comfort has taken precedence over glamour in today's fashion landscape, where the casual attire has become the norm, a far cry from the bygone era. The shift is palpable, and while today's fashion may be more conscious, there is a certain charm to the style of those who grew up in the eras preceding the 1990s. The emphasis on dressing up for various occasions added a touch of sophistication that seems to have waned in the pursuit of comfort. And yes, the nostalgia includes the effort it took to put on a full ensemble just to pick up some bologna and Wonder Bread at the grocery store. From bras and girdles to stockings and heels, those were the days when stepping out meant stepping into style. Number 15. Mrs. Dash. Now let's spice things up a bit with Mrs. Dash, the go-to spice blend for baby boomers. This iconic blend, consisting of onion, pepper, thyme, parsley, and other spices, became an immediate smash hit. Alberto Culver introduced Mrs. Dash.
This is one of the secret weapons in eating healthy, is using this stuff called Mrs. Dash.
Conceived by a marketing exec who believed that a combination of about 14 spices could season as effectively as salt, which was then under scrutiny. Mrs. Dash quickly found its way into almost every household, offering a convenient blend that added excitement and flair to dishes without the need for an array of individual spice bottles. It became a staple in kitchens, cherished by the homemakers of the time. Not only was Mrs. Dash a great product, but its packaging also made it a perfect fit for spice racks, ensuring its ubiquitous presence in homes across the nation. Number 16. Vintage green stamps from the store. Let's take a trip down memory lane to the era of S&H Green Stamps, a phenomenon that had 20 million smart and thrifty women collecting stamps.
As you can see, somebody filled this
At over 60,000 stores. These green stamps, akin to coupons on steroids, were the brainchild of Sperry and Hutchinson, offering a loyalty program that allowed shoppers to accumulate stamps at their local grocery and exchange them for items in the S&H catalog. Back in the 70s, green stamps were all the rage, even making their way into pop culture with an episode on the Brady Bunch. However, like many trends, they faded away by the 80s. Interestingly, the concept of coupons has been around since Coca-Cola invented them in 1887, gaining real momentum in the 1950s when the Nielsen Coupon Clearinghouse formed to authenticate and police coupon redemption. Trading stamps, another loyalty program prevalent in the 1960s, allowed customers to earn stamps for every dollar spent at grocery stores, reaching its peak in 1968 with a value surpassing $900 million. The concept faded away, but it marked a significant era in consumer loyalty. Number 17. Little Debbie becomes an instant hit at stores. Switching gears to another delightful corner of the snack universe, let's talk about Little Debbie. In 1935, O.D. McKee, founder of McKee Foods, embarked on perfecting the original Little Debbie snack.
Get to be so big. Well, today on Weird History Food, we're going to take a look at the history of Little Debbie.
The oatmeal cream pie. Tinkering with his hard oatmeal cookie recipe, McKee created a softer cookie, filling it with a fluffy cream filling, and sold these sweet delights for a nickel each. In 1960, the brand introduced the family pack of Little Debbie oatmeal cream pies, priced at 49 cents per carton. The response was overwhelming, with over 14 million cakes sold within the first 10 months. Little Debbie soared to become not just a snack but a sensation, representing a third of the snack cake market. Now, Little Debbie products, along with their iconic smiling girl on the box, are sold in all 50 states. Debbie McKee Fowler, the real person behind the image, is part of the family business, serving as the executive vice president of McKee Foods. The brand's history is as sweet as its treats, with the company still family-driven, overseeing day-to-day operations for over 80 years. Number 18. Hostess Twinkies. Now let's explore the iconic world of Hostess Twinkies, those golden delights that have been a sweet companion to many throughout the decades. In 1933, the Continental Baking Company in Indianapolis, also known for Wonder Bread, and the Hostess snack line introduced the world to Twinkies.
Unwrapping. Recognize these little yellow sponge cake? Hostess Twinkies. They're more than a snack, they are practically a food group.
James A. Dewar, one of their bakers, conceived the idea during a delivery of a cream-filled strawberry shortcake. With idle machines after strawberry season, Dewar envisioned a snack cake filled with banana filling, sold at a humble nickel for a pack of 2, a welcome treat during the Great Depression. In the 1940s, as bananas were rationed during World War II, Hostess switched to vanilla cream filling, a move that proved popular and permanent. The 1950s marked the rise of Twinkies' popularity, notably sponsored by Hostess on the Howdy Doody show featuring the Twinkie. The 60s brought a twist to Twinkies' tale during the nuclear scare. Many bomb shelters were stocked with Twinkies because, as the lore goes, they stay fresh forever. A true American icon, even President Clinton sealed one in a time capsule. To this day, Twinkies remain Hostess's best-selling snack cake, churning out 500 million annually. Number 19. Kroger enhances a Detroit supermarket. Fast forward to the vibrant supermarket scene in the 50s and 60s, where Kroger emerged as a retail giant. The number of stores doubled, and their share of retail food sales skyrocketed. But Kroger wasn't just content being a run-of-the-mill grocer.
Going to go to the clearance section, and all you'll find is a moldy cantaloupe and some expired Doritos. But don't fret, Kroger...
They revolutionized the shopping experience. In 1958, at a Detroit supermarket, Kroger introduced a groundbreaking concept, the Continental Counter. It wasn't just about buying groceries, it was an experience. Customers could indulge in the delights of a service deli, grab sweets from an in-store bakery, and savor smoked meats from an on-premises barbecue shop. Kroger was no longer just a grocery store. It became a one-step destination, catering not just to needs but to the desires of the evolving customer. Number 20. Spam. Now let's dive into the realm of canned wonders, where Spam became a household name. Picture this: meat in a can, pre-cooked and made with ham. It was a staple in every baby boomer's kitchen, a versatile delight, uniquely, that didn't need refrigeration. Is that a good thing? Well, let's unravel the tale. The lore behind the name Spam is a bit mysterious. While some say it's a blend of spice and ham,
% less sodium. No, 25%. Oh, so it's not even 50% less sodium, because they know if they take it out, you're just eating a lard thing.
The truth is neither ingredient graces the iconic canned meat. The confusion extends to speculation that Spam stands for shoulder of pork and ham. However, Kenneth Daigneault, brother of a Hormel VP, is credited for naming it. As the story goes, during a New Year's Eve party, Daigneault casually suggested Spam in a naming contest, and the rest, as they say, is history. After playing a crucial role during World War II, beating thousands of American GIs, Spam's role evolved. With returning soldiers refusing to make it the centerpiece of their meal, Spam shifted to becoming a sometimes food side dish. The 60s saw a significant change as it transformed from a meal centerpiece to an ingredient. No longer gracing the center of the plate, Spam found new life in sandwiches, eggs, and quirky 60s recipes like Spam upside-down pie or Spam sandwiches topped with baked beans. Despite its humble beginnings, Spam even made its way into haute restaurant menus, creating a highbrow, lowbrow fusion. In 2009, Hormel tweaked the recipe, adding potato starch to improve the aesthetics, making Spam not just a culinary delight, but also a pop culture icon. Number 21. You couldn't shop on Sundays. Picture a time when Sunday was truly a day of rest for both shoppers and store owners. In the 1950s, stores adhered to a strict schedule, typically opening their doors from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays and remaining closed on Sundays. The 70s brought a shift, with some stores staying open 24/7. However, this was a luxury enjoyed by only a handful of the most profitable markets. While many Krogers today boast extended hours, the rise of e-commerce has nudged the pendulum back towards slightly more limited hours. Late-night grocery runs, now common, gained traction in the early 1970s. with a handful of stores adopting 24-hour service. In the 1950s, if you didn't stock up on a Saturday, you were out of luck on Sunday. Even the mom and pop stores closed by 1 p.m., leaving only a couple of bakeries open for your urgent food needs. It was a different shopping landscape, and if Sunday caught you unprepared, your hunger had to wait until Monday. Number 22. Tang. Let's take a flavorful journey back to the late 50s when a tangy orange drink mix became a household name. Tang. In 1957, General Foods Corporation food scientist William A. Mitchell and chemist William Bruce James worked their magic to formulate Tang, which hit the powder form market in 1959. Interestingly, Tang faced a slow start until NASA's involvement. Sales soared after Tang was used on John Glenn's Mercury flight in February 1962 and subsequent Gemini missions. The association with the U.S. human spaceflight program fueled the misconception that Tang was specifically invented for astronauts, although it had been around for a few years. Tang's cosmic journey continued through the early NASA crewed space flights, from Glenn's orbiting eating experience to Gemini's missions. Despite the availability of specially designed canned drinks, astronauts preferred Tang for its easy mixing with existing water containers. Buzz Aldrin might not have been a fan, declaring Tang sucks in 2013, but it remains a space mission staple even today.
Prevent fungus from taking hold amid moist stored foodstuffs. Some food items, beefsteak for instance, come pre-sterilized with ionizing.
Now, beyond the cosmic realm, the creator of Tang, William A. Mitchell, wasn't a one-hit wonder. He also brought us culinary delights like Pop Rocks, Cool Whip, and a form of instant set Jell-O. Chemist William Bruce James, Tang's co-creator, made his mark with various Jell-O flavors. Number 23. Cereals. Fast forward to the 1950s, and breakfast cereals were undergoing a transformation into the sweet treats we know today. This was the era when sugar became the star of cereal boxes.
In 1953, they used clowns as the mascot. They probably realized that clowns had no relation to the cereal, so in 1957 they decided to switch up the
giving rise to iconic brands like Frosted Flakes, Cocoa Puffs, and Alpha-Bits. The 50s were buzzing with the introduction of sugar-loaded cereals like Sugar Pops, Sugar Smacks, and Sugar Frosted Flakes, which remarkably continue to have a presence today. But the 1950s also brought forth some cereal varieties that might only exist in nostalgic memories. Who could forget Sugar Crinkles? This rice cereal, hitting shelves in 1950, boldly declared itself the candy-kissed cereal, setting the tone for the sugar-rich breakfast to follow. Cornfetti, despite lacking sugar in the name, proudly boasted its magic sugar coat and featured a sailor mascot named Captain Jolly, a precursor to Captain Crunch. Then there was Sugar Smiles, blending two common themes of the time, sugar and clowns. General Mills marketed Frostios as goodness shaped like little frosted donuts, adding a touch of sweetness to the morning routine. And who could forget OKs, introduced by Kellogg's in 1959 to rival Cheerios. This cereal featured a giant Scotsman named Big Otis in its marketing. By the 1960s, Yogi Bear took over the reins. Now, in the midst of reminiscing about these sugar-laden cereals, what was your favorite morning bowl back in the day? Number 24. Stores tried to appeal to kids. Imagine a time when grocery shopping wasn't just a chore for parents, but an outing for the entire family. In the 20th century, grocery stores went the extra mile to make the experience enjoyable for kids. From shopping carts with built-in child seats to kiddie corrals designed to entertain children while parents shopped, supermarkets aimed to cater to the needs of families. Take D'Agostino Brothers, a grocery store on Manhattan's East 85th Street in the 1950s. Their innovative approach included shopping carts equipped with built-in child seats. A young New Yorker named Sean Tully, just 15 months old,
counter, they nervously order ground beef and ask to use their own packaging.
Could comfortably accompany his mother on their grocery run. D'Agostino's made grocery shopping not just a task, but a pleasant experience for both parents and kids. Piggly Wiggly, a supermarket from the same era, took it a step further. Not only did they offer shopping convenience, but they also had a TV and magazine room dedicated to entertaining kids while their parents shopped. The store even had a lounge where shoppers could rest their tired feet, sip coffee, and socialize. The thoughtful design included air conditioning, central heating, and a refrigerated cooling system, making it a comfortable environment for families. Number 25. Stores were smaller. Picture this. In the early 60s and 70s, grocery stores were a lot more modest in size, with footprints at most reaching 15,000 square feet. Quite the contrast to the sprawling markets we're accustomed to today, averaging around 45,000 square feet.
Little to nothing. So I want to talk about the vending machines. I see them in every laundromat. How important are they? How much money do they make you? Why do you have them in the first place?
Some stores during that era were more than just grocery havens. They were multitasking marvels. Imagine a grocery store with an attached laundromat, a convenient solution for busy moms looking to tackle 2 household chores at once. But the innovation didn't stop there. Some stores also boasted lunch counters, merging the charm of the 1950s soda shops with the convenience of grocery shopping. However, not everyone was welcome at these counters. The grim reality of segregation and Jim Crow laws meant that, until 1964, it was illegal for black individuals to sit at many of these counters. Protests and sit-ins, like the one in Oklahoma City on August 26, 1958, played a pivotal role in the civil rights movement, challenging discriminatory practices. Number 26. Prell shampoo when it came in a glass-covered bottle. Now let's talk about a time when even shampoo came in glass bottles. Before the era of ubiquitous plastic, liquids, including shampoo, were distributed in glass or ceramic containers. Prell shampoo, introduced by Procter & Gamble in 1947, was no exception. This concentrated shampoo, housed in a glass bottle likely designed by Donald Deskey, a modern industrial design pioneer, was a staple in households.
Rediscover the fresh scent, rich lather, and ultra-clean rinse that leaves.
Deskey, known for his work on iconic products like Crest toothpaste, Jif peanut butter, and Tide detergent, had a hand in giving Prell its distinct packaging. The shampoo's viscous green liquid and unbreakable bottle became memorable advertising features. Not only did Prell find a place in bathrooms across the country, but it also made its mark in entertainment. The brand was referenced in various TV shows like Drawn Together, Seinfeld, and The Simpsons. In the 1996 movie The Rock, Prell even made a cinematic appearance, symbolizing deadly VX gas. Despite evolving packaging norms, Prell remained resilient. It was one of the highest-selling shampoos in 1977 and, remarkably, continued to be sold by Ultimark products as of 2012. Number 27. Peter Pan Peanut Butter. Do you remember the days when Peter Pan peanut butter came in a glass jar with a tin lid that sometimes proved tricky to grip? This American classic, named after the J.M. Barrie character, has quite the history. Introduced in 1920 by Swift & Company under the name E.K. Pond, it later underwent a name change in 1928 to become the Peter Pan we all know. Joseph L. Rosefield's 1921 patent introduced a non-separating, partially hydrogenated peanut oil peanut butter, setting it apart in the market.
Wrong with their peanut butter, mind you, but if you enjoy a deep nutty taste, you won't be completely thrilled with Skippy. Don't worry though, you'll still want to eat the entire jar.
Initially packaged in a tin can with a turnkey and reclosable lid, the product's packaging shifted to glass jars due to metal shortages during World War II. Peter Pan made history in 1988 by being the first peanut butter brand to transition to plastic jars. Aside from its packaging evolution, Peter Pan was the star ingredient in the now discontinued Peter Pan peanut butter cups by Frankfurt Candy and Chocolate Company. Over the years, the brand has had notable spokesmen, including actor Sterling Holloway, actor Mark Lynn Baker, comedian Alan Suze, and game show host Art James. Number 28. Classic TV dinner. The classic TV dinner, a revolutionary concept in 1954, just a year after Swanson & Sons introduced the first ever TV dinner. Back then, Americans embraced the idea of more than 10 million ready-made meals flying off the shelves.
Dinners were cleverly packaged, priced at an affordable 98 cents, and available in grocery stores all over the nation. In the first full year of sales, Swanson sold 10.
It was a game changer, providing an alternative to the traditional home-cooked meal. Frozen foods were having their moment, riding the wave of popularity that started in the 50s. Although the method for freezing foods had been around since 1924, it wasn't until the 50s that it became a household phenomenon. Swanson TV dinners were at the forefront of this frozen revolution. Picture this. In 25 minutes, your wife could serve up a meal with hearty slices of moist, tender Swanson turkey, with whipped sweet potatoes and golden Swanson butter. The original TV dinner also boasted garden-fresh peas and a cornbread dressing, all neatly packed in a compartmentalized tray. However, not everyone was a fan. Men of the era wrote to the company expressing their preference for their wives to cook from scratch like their mothers did, rather than opt for just the heat-and-serve Swanson meal. It was a sign of the times, reflecting the cultural shift in attitudes towards convenience. Interestingly, the invention of the TV dinner has multiple attributions, with Jerry Thomas, the Swanson brothers, and Maxon Food Systems Incorporated all staking claims, according to the Library of Congress. Regardless of its origins, the TV dinner became a staple in households, marking a shift in how Americans approached mealtime. Number 29. Nestlé's Quik. Who here remembers Nestlé's Quik? If you're a true baby boomer, you'll recall the days when chocolate milk wasn't just a drink, it was an event. Nestlé's Quik.
Get Nestlé's Quik. It makes milk taste like a million.
He named it good.
Housed in a distinctive tin container, was a staple in households. Forget about the easy squeeze bottles of today. This bad boy required a spoon to pop open its lid. Nesquik, as we know it today, started as Nestlé Quik in the United States in 1948. It made its way to Europe in the 1950s, where it adopted the name Nesquik. However, for those of us who grew up in the era of Quik, the memories are vivid. While Nestle may be synonymous with chocolate bars for some, for baby boomers, it's all about that iconic tin of Quik. Speaking of chocolate preferences, Nestle's Quik held its ground against Hershey syrup in the cold milk showdown. The convenience of popping open the lid with a spoon made it a winner in the eyes of many. Of course, hot chocolate wasn't left out of the equation, and Hershey's had some stiff competition from Swiss Miss, mainly for its embedded marshmallows, a game changer for busy moms who might forget to buy them separately. Number 30. Grocers used to only sell food. Back in the day, grocery stores were all about the essentials, food. It might sound surprising, but it wasn't until the 80s that people began to expect more than just groceries at their local store. Flowers, toys, magazines, and greeting cards were not part of the shopping list. It was all about filling the pantry. Today, you can practically do your entire to-do list at a grocery store, from filling prescriptions to picking up fresh bouquets of flowers. This shift towards becoming one-stop shops began in the 80s and now is the norm, especially with the rise of supercenters like Walmart. In 1950, supermarkets were responsible for only 35% of food sales, with a 19% increase in the U.S. population.
Low prices are also resonating with high-income consumers, who made up about half of the company's market share gains in food in the fiscal quarter that ended January 20.
Reaching 180 million people by 1960, the demand for groceries surged, and so did the stores. That's all for today. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed this blast from the past. Subscribe, share, and comment down below with your favorite grocery store memories. Till next time, stay tuned.